Welcome to Now Hiring, a podcast about staffing, recruiting, and talent. I'm Scott Montmany, and with me, as always, are Andy Weiss and Samir Panikalapati, our host, who happens to be the CEO of Ceipal, and Andy, the Chief Marketing Officer there. But we are delving into and diving into topics that go much deeper than our work lives together. We want to talk about the topics that matter to those in the staffing and recruiting industry and workforce management, and tackle some of those issues. And in one of our episodes, we discussed the idea of building a high-value staffing company. And we have this big barrier of $100 million that Samir has advice to get us across. But before we even get there, we touched on the idea of specialties being a help, making sure that you're going into a niche that needs to be serviced and that you're able to service. And we just barely touched on the idea of automation when we got to the end of that episode. And Samir, I think that is one of the topics, Andy, if I'm wrong.
It feels like, Samir, you're taking us on this journey. We started, origin. You talked to us about like there being low barriers, but focusing in. You shared a little bit of your story and your journey, but now we've got some traction. So what's kind of the key to making some of this stuff happen to get us closer to that 100 million?
Yeah, no, I think what I come up with the name, the ACT Act. That's really I meant was that you had to put your act together to grow and create a high value business. The ACT ACT for automation, compliance, and taxes.
And to be clear, this is not standardized testing. This is not college test prep. This is something completely different, right?
Yeah.
That's the SATs we'll be talking about in the next episode, yes. I guess, right? And the ACTs and the SATs.
This is like an SAT test for creating a high value business. Like,
okay,
remember that.
There you go.
There we go.
Is as important as creating a. So again, we're talking about a value creation, right? When you're talking about a value creation and building a customers, building a niche skill set, growing the revenue is one thing. That's just a piece of it. The second bigger, larger piece of the business is your automation, compliance, and taxes, right? And I have, my experience working with large number of M&A firms over times. And the biggest worry of the new acquirer or somebody, a VC firm is putting money into your business or helping you to grow, being a partner. One of the things that they want to see is how do you run your back office operations? How efficiently are you running the business, right? And what are the things that you're actually automating the business? And then second, compliance, guys, it has gone like many multiples of complexity in running the business today. I'm talking about compliance related to the state compliance, your labor law compliances, your immigration compliance, then your like 401k compliance or your payroll compliance, and you're talking about you can name after the name compliance. Like if you do not have a team or the plan in really making sure that you are maintaining a compliant business, or if you don't have a proper structure in place, that's going to devalue your business. And you take my word, compliance is as important as bringing a new client to the business.
Okay. So Samir, before we get into the taxation one, we talked a little bit about, or you shared a little bit about kind of the automation one first. So the difference between, or the challenge between kind of, do I hire somebody or do I automate something in my back office? Like what's the trade-off? Where do you decide, this makes more sense to automate versus hiring somebody on the back in the back office to complete that function?
No, I think, if you look into the back office, right, if we're onboarding an employer, a consultant, there's no reason to have a set of people doing an onboarding. The now onboarding, you can completely do paperless onboarding. So you do have a full baked back office system that can onboard without having an in-person. You can do completely paperless onboarding. and then your I-9 E-Verify. This is completely automated to it, right? And then your background check is to be automated through integrating to your, your back office ATS platforms. And then your compliance too, really. Your compliance related to integrating your back office system to your payroll agency. And then your all other things like benefits automation, your like healthcare automation, your health insurance, like your so a lot of things that you have to
Okay.
find a way to automate so that you can run more efficiently. So I'm saying not only you become very efficient in automating your business running through these systems, but you'll also be more compliant just because you're
So they work hand in hand.
yeah,
Okay.
working in
So
hand.
the-
Yeah.
So then the final letter in ACT is T. So death and taxes. So tell us about taxation.
Yeah, the taxes is the one thing, right? Like in another that I keep hearing from the investors community that if one thing is you obviously file taxes every year, having a proper returns in place, but at least if you have a reviewed returns or audited financials for your business, it's just much more third party audited reviews and third party audited financials will give you a lot more weightage to your numbers. And those are kind of things. And then you make sure you compliant with the state taxes filing timely. You make sure your federal taxes file compliant. You make sure when you close the books annually, you make sure that you have no dues in taxes. You're compliant with it. Your proper documentation. You're retained, and then showcase to it. So because taxes can go all the way back to 7 years of
Right.
your business, even longer if there is an issue with it. But it's as important as that. Every single one of them. Automation is, if you don't automate, you will not be a profitable business. There is no value for it. Compliance, if you don't compliant, even though you have a great business, they could kill the business not being compliant. Taxes, if we don't do it, they can shut down the business if you are not compliant. So ACT is as important as anything else. It's probably even the most important. But if you make sure you have back office systems in place, your payroll systems in place, your compliance in place, automate it, right? And you run this business like a well-oiled machine through automation. And that's my takeaway from this.
So Scott, we've started, we got traction. Now we've got the ACT framework. Feels like we're getting close to our 100 million threshold. What do you think?
We're going to take the next step on the journey in another episode. I don't think we have enough time to do it right now, but we are going to get to it. So be sure to look for that. Getting over the big $100 million barrier. And I love that acronym, ACT, because you have to act, and there's an important process for each letter. And automation, which starts it, kind of goes through all of them, I think, too. And so when we meet again, we're going to keep talking about it, but we're going to dovetail it into, as Andy says, getting over that $100 million barrier. So be sure to stream that one, download it on your favorite platform, like, share, subscribe, get the notifications and all that good stuff. We hope that you found this as interesting and as useful as we do. And we'll see you there. Until next time, we are now hiring.